Oh, there you are. There you go. White House correspondent Lana Zak in my ear. Now I feel better. All right, Lana Zak, the White House was bad-mouthing the CBO. The CBO report comes out on Trump Care, and there's just enough for everybody to blame the other person and just enough to take credit for it.
Exactly. Ultimately, what the CBO report concludes is it's impossible to have your cake and eat it too. They can have $300 billion in cost savings for the federal government. That's what the CBO report says will happen over 9 years as a result of the Republican plan to repeal and replace. But it's going to come at a cost. Millions more uninsured Americans. They're saying right away there will be about 14 million Americans that will lose their health insurance, 24 million over the next 10 years, for a total number of 52 million uninsured Americans. That's about the same amount of people that would be uninsured if Obamacare had never existed. In essence, what the CBO report says is that the president's plan to make sure that everybody has insurance, that everybody will be covered, doesn't happen with this plan.
So the White House says the CBO report is what?
So we haven't heard from the president or the White House press secretary yet, but we did hear from Health and Human Services Secretary Tom Price, who said that he disagrees strenuously with the report in terms of the number of uninsured. He had only read the top line of it. It had literally just come out when he exited the Oval Office in the White House to talk to the press about it. At that point, he said that he thought that the CBO wasn't taking into account some of the things that they were going to be doing. He didn't understand how people would be losing their Medicare or Medicaid coverage. But the CBO report goes into that. It says that many states will not expand their Medicaid coverage because the Republican plan doesn't require them to do so, and it would also allow them to roll back some of that expansion that they've done. And some of what the Republican plan will also do by putting caps on individual costs means that some of the states may run out of money to cover everybody and to give them the sort of coverage that they need. So in that aspect alone, we're looking at potentially millions of more Americans that would lose their health insurance.
Well, it also says that after a number of years, policy rates will go down. Why does the CBO think rates will go down after a number of years?
So it says that they were actually probably going to go down for certain groups, but for older Americans, those premiums will still go up. So one thing that's interesting about it is that they say that by 2026, average premiums for individual policyholders will be down about 10% lower. But that's different than saying that somebody with a family or an older American is going to be better off in terms of their premiums. And ultimately, the younger people are less persuasive constituents to lawmakers than the older Americans, who are more likely to vote, more likely to call their congresspeople and their senators. So that may actually have a problem. That may actually present a problem to congressional Republicans looking to pass this bill.
Lana, this is moving pretty quick. Is this going to derail the speed of this, or is this going to do nothing? What are you hearing on the ground in Washington, D.C.?
Well, what I've heard from folks here, the plan has always been to try and make this go through as fast as possible. It coincides with what the president and many Republicans campaigned on, repealing and replacing Obamacare on day one. We're now in about halfway through those first 100 days, and they're looking to make this happen just immediately. That's part of what Democrats have been decrying, how quickly this has been moving without, they feel, sufficient input from all stakeholders. And we have no signs from the Republicans that this is going to slow their hope for advancement of the bill. Just the same, these CBO numbers don't show what some of the more moderate Republicans needed to bring to their constituents. Those millions of Americans uninsured is going to be problematic to some of them. And so the Republicans may face, both from the more extreme conservative parts of the party and some of the more moderate parts of the party, calls to pump the brakes just a little bit.
Lana Zak, does the White House Correspondents, do they have their own NCA office pool?
I am so terrible that I don't even bother. I don't get invited.
You're so busy working hard, you don't have time for those shenanigans. Is that right?
They keep me pretty busy, and in between trying to navigate those slick roads coming into the White House today and read the new Congressional Budget Office report, I've had to keep my nose to the grindstone.
How are the roads coming in? What is the weather like there?
It's been pretty slick. I was grateful to be in a car with four-wheel drive today, as opposed to on the metro or trying to really navigate those streets, because it's coming down sort of thick and heavy, not nice powder in sort of a wintry wonderland sort of way, but more of the we will just coat all the streets with ice way.
Lana Zak navigating the roads and the CBO report at the White House. Lana, thanks for checking in.
Always great to talk to you.
You got it. 726, Big